The reason it's a problem is because when everybody does that, it's impossible to stick out. Welcome back to another episode of Fishing After Dark, ladies and gentlemen, on a new channel.
New channel.
The Fishing After Dark podcast channel.
That's right.
Because Fishing After Dark was taken by somebody.
Dirty.
How
Did you
dare
look at
you?
It?
Yeah, I tried to get Fishing After Dark, and it
Probably
was
was
taken.
a fan. I bet it was a fan.
And that's what I'm thinking. Or it could have been 420 PPs. I don't know.
Son of a bitch.
Could have been a hater.
It is, man.
Yeah. Well, it's all good. We'll dive into why we did this, why we changed channels, and we're going to keep it real on this channel, and we're going to give you guys all the background information. But before we go any further, remember, guys, the Fishing After Dark podcast is brought to you by Carl's Bait and Tackle, the internet's local tackle shop.
Mm-hmm.
Carl's is the premier destination for everything fishing, Badge. We're talking about rod, reel, line, lures, and it's the cheapest place to get Guggen baits on the internet, I believe.
Facts.
So, great service, great people, easy to shop there. Online shopping is definitely the move these days. So visit shopcarls.com to find out more about that. And we'll talk about that in detail a little bit later on in the podcast. But why did we move the podcast, Badge?
Because we're quitting our channels.
Oh, is that right? That's kind of how I'm feeling these days. But anyways, on another note.
Yeah, let's not go there.
The real reason we moved the podcast to another channel, and I hope by now we've gotten a ton of you guys over from my channel and Badge's channel over to this new channel. That way we can but we can remove the people who don't want to see the podcast, like subscribers of mine that don't want to see the podcast. Now you don't even have to see it at all. And I made a video about this, how it was killing my channel, and I broke it down. I don't want to go through that again, but basically the algorithm is kind of getting squigged because of the podcast, and doesn't get that many views for a fishing video, but it gets a lot of views for a podcast. So I think it was confusing the YouTube algorithm.
It was.
And thus dragging some of my other videos that I would put out after the podcast, drag those down.
Straight to the crapper.
Yeah, just really bad numbers, views, and I just don't feel like that should be happening. So.
Right. The podcast kind of took your mental health there and just punted it.
Yeah. And then we had like such crazy videos coming out, and I was scared. The alligator video was about to come out, and I was scared that the podcast was going to ruin it. So I axed it, threw an axe, hit it right in the back.
Our sponsors.
Yeah.
They're not happy, but,
had to have long, hard talks with the sponsors and be like, look, I know that I promised you that I would do this, but I lied. And now I'm moving it to another channel.
We want twice the amount of money for half the views.
Yes, that's exactly how it happened. But no, a big shout out to Shop Carl's.
Yeah.
They've been super flexible with us through this transition. And like I said, hopefully by now we've already kind of gotten a lot of people over here, and therefore we're not having to chase a bunch of people down.
Yeah.
Hey, come back and listen to the podcast.
Hand out pamphlets at Walmart.
Yeah, exactly. We probably should. Yeah, we got enough fans around here. We definitely could.
Yeah.
But, so before we go any further, let's also read some Apple Podcast reviews. If you guys didn't know, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, which about 50% of our listeners do.
Really?
So that's a big chunk of our audience. But on Apple, you can leave 5-star reviews, and you can write a review. So please, guys, continue to do that. And if we see your comment, we may read it live on the air. So got one right here from DripLord27. I love these usernames.
Yeah, they go hard.
I'm just going to be honest. That's been my favorite part about this. Old DripLord said, Lojo, you best. Read this in a podcast. Got you, homie. This podcast is amazing if you're just sitting in school or on the water. In school. Nice.
Hey,
Not learning, baby. Let's go.
My man's too busy dripping.
Also, thank you, Lojo. You were the first fishing YouTuber I started watching about 2 years ago and really got me into fishing. Thank you, Drip Lord. We appreciate you, brother.
Tight lines, buddy.
Got Mitch from Ohio. He said the podcast is entertaining. Great podcast. Listen to it on my hour commute. That's perfect, man. That's a perfect commute to listen to the show. Yep. My only wish is that you would talk a little more about why you choose the gear you do. I understand most things are covered under the Guggen Catch Co. umbrella. More specific, I guess, would be Shimano reels. So I think what he's trying to say is talk about our gear more and why we use Shimano.
Well, I mean,
I can answer that right now.
It's simple.
It's the best one that you can use right this moment.
They're very
right. I was gonna tease it. I was gonna tease it. Eventually, I'll be holding a fishing reel that is not Shimano. It's not Lew's. It's not Daiwa, and it's gonna have a GS on it. But until that day, I'm gonna use the best possible option, which is
combo.
Exactly. Are you going to bleep that?
I don't care.
You could or you couldn't. I don't know. We're driving people nuts with these bleeps, by the way, because they're like, "Who the heck are y'all talking about?" So I got one more comment here. Midwest Mondo Seller says, "This is awesome podcast. Lojo and Andrew go hard. Best podcast ever. Keep it up. Fire all podcasts long." That was a good comment.
Yeah, not good grammar, but I felt the emotion.
Yeah, who cares about the grammar?
Yeah, I don't give a crap.
Oh yeah. So so we got people out here who want to hear more about our gear, and I'm like, you kind of summed it up. It's like, I mean, Shimano reels, one of the best you're going to use. I'm not going to say the best, because you could maybe argue that Daiwa is. I don't really use Daiwa. I never have. Have you?
I have, and I have not been impressed.
Yeah, I've used a couple of Daiwas. I have a Tatula, a spinning reel.
They have good spinning reels, but
I mean, I thought it was okay, but the Stratix, man. The freaking the Shimano
exactly.
Stratix that I have, like, to me, blow them out of the water.
They go
now,
hard.
Stratix are discontinued, but I still have a couple.
They have some new models.
They do, yeah.
But
I'm just old, so I like to.
I
like the Stratix.
I don't make that Stratix no more.
I don't like the new ones, even though it's probably very similar.
Right.
But just the Stratix just went hard. But yeah, so you're right. Whoever that comment was, I mean, we are contractual. Well, I am. I can't speak for you. Contractually obligated to use a certain amount of Guggen Squad Ketchco products, but that's because I chose that. You know what I mean? I could work with any company I wanted to at this point.
Yeah.
You got Luz in the mix, paying creators. You got Abu Garcia coming in hot.
Oh yeah, they're coming in
paying
really
creators. Hot. So I mean, it's not we could work for whoever we want to. We just want to work for Guggen and Ketchco and Shop Carl's. So that's who we work for. So of course we're going to use their products. But Shimano, the reels is the only products that we don't make yet.
Yeah.
So what is your bait casting reel of choice? If money was not an object, and you could just outfit your entire 20 rod setup with reels, what would it be?
I love the Shimano SLX DC.
Dude, that's a good one for
It
the
is
money
so
too. It's
good.
like less than $200, isn't it?
Yep, it's like $195, so $189 most of the time.
I think I've seen them at like $179 before.
Dang.
Yeah, I've gotten a couple of mine like that.
Send me that deal, man.
Let's see, I might have to upgrade to a Corrado or a Corrado DC.
They're pretty good.
Yeah,
they're pretty good.
Pretty freaking nasty.
It's just when I pick those up, I automatically feel like I'm trying to show off.
You really?
I don't know
the
what
SLX
it is.
DC is a little bit more low key.
Yeah.
Low key high end fishing reel.
It's like you have a nice car or you have a car that's like, look at me, but
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, I get it. It's like you have a new F250,
right.
but you don't have like a new F350.
Right.
Now it's just like, come on, bro.
Dude,
Did
don't
you really
need
need that
that.
extra 150?
You need that F650 to pull that lawnmower, dog? Come on.
Excuse me. Yeah, so to give you Mr. I think it was Mitch from Ohio. I'm not sure who said that, but oh, jeez.
Dude, you have a coughing fit every podcast.
I've been coughing for like 3 months straight. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been calling my doctor. He just ignores me.
Yeah,
So it's
just
fine.
Forget it.
I just call the place I went to get tested originally. They're just that they'll answer and be like, yeah, we'll have a doctor or a nurse call you back. They never do. So
Yeah.
if I die, we got a pretty nice little lawsuit though, because
Mhm.
I've tried several times to reach back out and they just
Yeah.
hate me.
Your
So
doctor, definitely big Sixth Sense lure
I was
guy.
just gonna say that, you son of a gun. Yeah, he hates the Guggen Squad. Actually, he's a big fan of fishing YouTube channels, but he hates me.
Right,
So
Milliken.
he's a big Milliken guy. So he just wants me to just keel over and die. So yeah, it's a big shout out to the doctors in Southeast Alabama, baby, just letting us hang.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. So how you been? How you been doing?
Been doing good. I don't want to disclose anything, but I went to Virginia.
Yeah, you've had a lot of crazy stuff going on. While you talk about that, I'm going to put a tobacco-less alternative dip in.
There you go.
I'd like to make that distinction. This is not a tobacco product.
No, we don't support that.
Yeah. So
Anyways, I drove 8 hours with my dad in his big old dually to that's the farthest north I've ever been, actually.
Virginia?
Come on, man.
I'm trying
Why
to think
you
of where
gotta
that
say
is
it
on
like that?
I'm just trying to think about where that is on a map and how north it is.
I've
but-
been further south. I've been to like Honduras south, but
Oh my God.
I ain't been north. I don't mess around with that cold stuff.
You ain't missing nothing up there.
But
Bass fishing sucks.
Yeah.
I mean, smallmouth fishing is probably really good, but
Yeah.
largemouth fishing sucks.
Anyways, I went up there to buy something that you guys will probably see within the next week or two. And when I got there, the one I tried to buy was not anything like the way it was presented to me before I left.
Can we say you can bleep this, but can we say that it was a boat?
Yeah.
Or is that too much?
I don't think so. I mean, people know I need a restoration project.
You were going to get a very special type of boat.
It was one of the most unique boats I've ever seen. I was so stoked, and I called the guy, and I was like, hey, man, how's the motor? And he said, oh, it's good, man. It's good.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking, okay. And I get there, and we said, all right, man, can we look at the motor? He was like, I hadn't seen it. I was like, okay. And I was like, what? My dad went with me. He says, hey, when's the last time I got registered? Or when's the last time that it was on the water? He said 1993.
Oh, my God.
It was worse condition than the frickin' Monarch motor, man.
Oh, my God. That's like 28 years ago, man.
Sitting out in the element. So, yeah, he squibbed me on that one.
That's not great. So, and then, you guys ended up not getting it, too. So you had to drive all the way home with nothing, right?
Yeah.
But it's okay. You've got a hot lead on something else, but that's just...
That guy was pissed, too, man.
I was going to say, I want to hear all about that. We'll save that for another podcast. So
Yeah.
once you've revealed what you're doing, because
yeah.
I
Don't
can only
spoil it.
imagine. I want to hear what the guy who owned the boat had to say after all that. After
he
you
wasn't happy.
had agreed to buy it and then driven all the way there only to not buy it.
He was pissed. He was pissed.
I bet he was. Do you have a timer going, by the way?
No.
Because I do not.
It's okay. Set a timer for like 12.
Okay. Oh, God, I'm checking the stocks.
Oh gosh,
boy.
what's crypto?
Dude, crypto was banging last
Yeah.
night, son.
Yeah.
I hadn't checked it yet today.
I almost thought about telling my wife that I put our savings in it, but
Yeah, I might not want to.
still waiting.
Yeah, might not want to hit that one right this second. So we still got to get Alex Perrick on here to talk about crypto one day, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
I know he was going happy last night when he saw that Doge and Ethereum was just banging. By the way, I sold some Doge.
You should, man.
I sold like half of what I have, but I'm keeping it that way. I'm hoping it maybe dips today. Just throw it right back in.
Yeah, let's buy some NFTs, baby.
I don't know what that is.
Non-fungible tokens.
Non-fungible?
Yeah.
Is that a real word?
No, it's 100, man. Look it up.
Non-fungible.
Yeah.
I'm
It's
gonna look
basically
that up.
digital art.
Well, I get that it's not.
And people are
Real.
spending some dough.
Yeah, they are. Me and you think we're big ballers. We threw a couple grand in there, but
Yeah.
there's other people that have had their whole life in there. Anyways, not
Yes.
talking about crypto today either.
No, it's not.
So I got a question, Badge,
Okay.
and there's a problem on YouTube, I think, there's a few problems on YouTube as far as the fishing community, the outdoor community go. Have you noticed over the last 2-3 years that thumbnails, like creators' thumbnail games, have just gotten incredibly lazy? Or is it
Yeah.
just me?
No.
Or is lazy might not be the right word, but
I feel like if we talk about this, we're going to be self-incriminating a little bit.
no, we will, and I'm completely fine with it.
Okay. Okay, then yeah.
Okay, let's take away the word lazy. Let's substitute in repetitive.
Yeah.
Because I'm
No.
noticing a lot of creators, and we're talking about big creators here,
Oh, yeah.
have I guess found a thumbnail that they really like a style of thumbnail is what we're saying. You know, like if you can just imagine for a second the GoPro thumbnail. You know, when you're holding a rod and reel in one hand,
Yeah.
and then you're like either pointing or holding a bait,
Right.
or there's something in the background in front of your boat, like a big rock,
Yep.
or a big piece of structure.
Yep.
The thumbnail of like having a crazy piece of bait
Mm-hmm.
on a hook,
Yeah,
hanging over the top of the
Little
camera,
618.
little 618.
Okay.
But just to be clear, we're not bashing anybody. I'm just saying it's something that I've noticed, and I don't know if it's a good thing.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Because okay, so here's why it's a problem. When a bunch of creators start using the same thumbnail, and you'll appreciate this because you're a new creator, you're like busting into the space, and you're actually a great example of why what these people are doing may not be the long-term good thing to do.
Right.
The reason it's a problem is because when everybody does that, it's impossible to stick out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like if you wanted to use a thumbnail like that once because you had something really cool to show in that thumbnail, like
Right.
you fish the river a lot, so you've got a lot of rocks, bridges, you know.
Mm-hmm.
We just got back from Florida and we took a thumbnail in front of this giant train drawbridge. over the St. John's River because it was so cool.
It was
Like,
one of the coolest bridges.
yeah, we
we've
just
ever
never
fished.
see stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like you said, kind of incriminating ourselves a little bit because we just use thumbnails like this. But here's the difference. When me and you use a thumbnail like that, we won't use another thumbnail like that for weeks.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We'll go out of our way to be more diverse with the thumbnails.
Exactly.
So what's your thought on that?
I don't know, man. I think it's tough. I think it's tough because I think there's, to a certain degree, is a conditioning of your core audience. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, that's true. It's like branding.
right.
Yeah.
You're branding something. But one thing, Flair uses the same thumbnail a lot, right? He
Well,
might,
what you mean like him standing in front of something, basically just going like, "Whoa."
exactly. I mean, that's pretty much every thumbnail. But the thing that he does different than other people that I've noticed is keeps his face in his thumbnails.
Yes, right. Which
Which-
is the ultimate way to brand your channel.
Which you taught me that, and I've been able to see on my channel. Sometimes that really makes a big difference.
I think it makes a huge difference to have your face in the thumbnail. That's another reason why, as I was watching these, it's only really a few creators that do this.
Right.
I'd say like 5 or 10 total. But I just think that, like you said, they find this comfort in knowing that their audience is going to know that that's them.
Yep.
But I still think it makes you look like so many other channels. You know, it doesn't make you stand out. But you have your face in it.
Right.
If you can somehow incorporate your face in these thumbnails, that's always the way to go. Because there's no better branding than your face, right?
Yeah.
As long as people know who you are, they recognize you. That's a huge deal.
Yeah. 100%. But
So I mean, 618. He's got the crazy baits on a hook in front of a spillway or a creek or whatever.
spillways, yeah,
And look, here's the thing: 618 makes some of the cleanest videos out there.
he does.
I mean, his edits, his style, it's so good. It's so good.
It's
Love
crisp,
what he
yeah.
does.
I do too.
Love what he does. Another person would be Kicking Their Bass TV. You know,
Yeah.
who now he's actually kind of going through a switch with thumbnails. I think.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
I
I've
think
noticed
he's had
that.
enough of the rod and reel and bait or whatever. You know, now he's starting to get his like body in the back of his head, inside of his face sometimes.
Yeah.
And there, I wish he would do more where he was showing his face, but once again, it's not our channels. We're just kind of commenting on what we see.
I think it's kind of like, if you notice the people that use the same thumbnails, they use the same titles.
Yeah, very true in a lot of cases.
So
It's like they just take the keywords
Yeah.
and the thumbnail that they know will kind of work, and they're just afraid to get away from it.
right, they figure out the algorithm for one video.
Right.
And they realize, okay, these keywords my audience likes. YouTube knows that my audience likes this.
Yeah.
So why change?
And that's true, but here's a problem with that theory. The algorithm changes,
And your audience changes.
and your audience changes. I think like every 6 months, you probably should take a step back and reevaluate thumbnails, titles, what you're doing, how you're doing it. And a lot of these channels, I don't know if they're willing to do that,
Right.
or if they're just scared to fail, which I totally get. Everybody's afraid to fail,
Yeah.
especially at a high level of doing something. That's kind of one of your biggest fears is to fail.
Dude, it's
you know?
daunting when you type a title out that you've never seen on YouTube and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Or you use a thumbnail that you've really never seen.
Right.
You know? Like, I don't know. It's just one of those things you hate to sit here and make it seem like we're beating our chest, like, oh, we're better than you. It's definitely not what we're doing.
No, I've copied 618's
Yeah,
thumbnail.
exactly, dude. I mean, I just did with the live shrimp on the St. John's River with that big bridge because
Yep.
it was just so cool. I had never really seen a live shrimp in a thumbnail like that. I'm sure there is. Don't get me wrong. I've just never seen it.
Yeah.
And a giant bridge like that on the St. John's River just looked so cool, so I did it. But you won't see that again from me for probably months.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True,
or at least
true.
weeks. And then, so I don't know. We're not saying we're better than any of these guys. We're just simply commenting on what we see. I'm trying to think if there's any other major channels that kind of hammer the same thumbnails home because I don't really see that a lot. I think everybody's kind of starting to get the memo. Like you
Yeah.
gotta, you know.
I think people that just find comfort, like even One Rod and John kind of use similar thumbnails. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They swap it up though.
Yeah, I think they
up.
swap it up. I'm just thinking about like One Rod's last few thumbnails, and I know for a fact his face was in a few of them.
Yeah. It just,
You know.
I think it's okay if you use a similar thumbnail if you kind of wait a couple uploads and then drop that little
Yeah.
thing, you know? Just
I
got to
don't
keep
know.
it fresh, dude.
That's what me and you. That's one thing me and you really. Well, I know I stress with you because when I have to stress with myself too, because those rod and reel thumbnails, man, they're
Yeah.
super easy and they work a lot of the time. But me personally, I hate using them now.
I think there's a
because so
cap.
many people have used it
Right.
so often.
I think there's a cap to those thumbnails. Like, a lot of times you don't see thumbnails like that go viral.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
They have a healthy 60, 80K.
Yeah, maybe even 100. Like I had one not too long ago when I was fishing your sunken boat in the backyard pond.
Well, that was different.
That was a sunken
different.
boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in
That's exactly my
face,
point. See, in a situation where you're fishing a sunken boat, a GoPro thumbnail is obviously the way to go because that's the only way you can truly capture what we were seeing, which was, fishing, literally flipping at your sunken boat. So,
Yeah.
and that one got like 180K.
I saw it. I was like, dang, homie.
Yeah.
That's
So,
like a boat.
But anyways, yeah, the thumbnail game on YouTube is kind of like everything else on YouTube as far as fishing goes right now. It's just hard to be original.
That's the thing, though, is you start YouTube and you want to be like creative and you want to do all these different things, and then you find yourself looking into the business like, okay, how am I going to pay my bills and make this last?
Yeah.
And then you just settle into, okay, my audience likes this product. Let me just
Right.
put my head down and do it.
And there's a fine line. There's a gray area that you got to find and settle into, which is hard for a lot of people because it takes you out of your comfort zone.
Right.
When you commit to being new and fresh and innovative with everything, you're constantly out of your comfort zone, which is not where most people want to be,
Yeah.
even us included.
No,
You like to be comfortable. It's just a human nature. You want to be comfortable,
Right.
but you have to force yourself to be uncomfortable.
Got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, baby. I
Exactly.
can't talk, dude.
I'm sure David Goggins said that or somebody, like
Yeah.
some hardcore special forces Navy SEAL like running down the side of the road. You
Stay
got to be
hard.
uncomfortable. Stay hard. I love
hard.
David Goggins, but he's a little hardcore for me.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could quite live that way.
Yeah, I don't
like
know if it's
Jocko
worth it.
style,
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it's super inspirational.
Right.
At the same time, it's like, dude, I can't be that hard all the time,
no,
man.
no, dude.
Like
Extreme ownership. That man owns some
he
things.
is. He is. If anything ever has gone wrong in his life, baby, you know who to blame because he will blame himself in a hot second.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. He gets hit from behind while driving his truck.
Yeah, it's his fault.
I own it.
I own this. I was driving too fast or too slow, or I didn't use my blinker fast enough, whatever the case is. I love you, Jocko. Love you, David Goggins. Please don't come for me or my family.
Gosh.
Please. And now a quick message from our sponsor, Carl's Bait and Tackle. As you guys know, I've been working with Carl's since 2018 when they launched. Actually, before then, but I was around when they originally launched the website. They have an impressive and always growing list of just stuff, fishing gear in general. Like I said, rods, reels, line, lures, and at the best prices you're going to see anywhere. The team over there is constantly adding new products, making content to show you how to use the gear that you just purchased. And if you're a Carl's Club member, you actually get 30% off a ton of items. You get free shipping, you get access to early drops and stuff like that. They've also recently introduced Carl's Tackle Insurance. And I know it sounds a little crazy, but just hear me out. Any hard bait you buy for up to $20 is covered for up to 90 days from the insurance program. So up to 4 times, you can do 4 claims per year. If you break it off on a fish's face, if you chuck it into the tree and just break it off like me and Badge do every time we go out, anything like that, they will replace that hard bait for you. Carl's is where I get a ton of my gear. I've said it a million times. It's the cheapest place to get Guggen baits on the internet. Visit shopcarls.com and see exactly what I'm talking about. So speaking of how hard it is to be original and come up with new things, be outside your comfort zone, me and you were talking earlier about how tough it is for a new creator to come into a space like fishing, or let's just say outdoors, and make a name for yourself because it's so saturated.
Yeah.
Oversaturated. It's not just thumbnails, it's the amount of creators that there are. And, you've only got a certain number of audience. Now, the audience probably grows,
I think so.
every year because fishing has kind of been exploding the last 5 years.
But so does competition.
So does competition. So it has a way of evening out. But, me personally, I had Georgia Bassmaster out here a couple weeks ago, who was a small creator. And, he just wanted to vlog a little bit. And we fished my pond. And at the end we talked for like 20, 30 minutes about YouTube, and I'm sure he wanted to kind of absorb some thoughts that I had, and I wanted to help him because he was a nice guy, and he was kind of felt like he was struggling to find his way a little bit and have some success, and I tried to impart some knowledge on him, but I don't know it all either. There's no real secret to it. It's just kind of a determination thing.
Yeah.
But one thing I did tell him was, don't fall into this trap of using the same thumbnails and the same titles and doing the same fishing challenges as everybody else. It's so easy to say it, but you got to do something that other people aren't doing, which is exactly what you've got going on with your special project. Is you're committed to doing something that really nobody's done in our space ever.
That's been my goal ever since.
Are we taking Mountain Dew labels off, by the way?
I just was in the mood for it.
I think I'm with you on
little
that one.
ADHD took over.
Those bastards aren't ever going to sponsor the podcast, so get this label out of here. Go ahead, buddy. Sorry.
No, man. I've been determined, man. You work so long.
Wow, it just kind of floated in the air back there.
Yeah, that was kind of magical.
You work so long.
Everybody always talks about like you work almost 5, however many years it is to become that overnight success. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I feel like I've worked this entire time to get right on the brim of something big. And I can't just do the same thing.
Right.
I can't go to Walmart and get the cheapest reel and go fishing. That's not for me. That's not my lane.
And here's the thing. You could do it, and you'd probably get okay views.
Yeah.
And you'd be able to maintain an audience. But that's not what you're looking to do. That's what I love about you and the fact that you're young and you're new in this experience is because you're going for the throat, which is kind of how I am. It's like you said, you're so close. I mean, you basically are the next fishing YouTuber. I mean, it's out there. It's pretty much a done deal. Now, what that means, it doesn't mean anything. But that means you're on like a diving board. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now you've got to you can either just sit there and take little bounces, or you can just jump off and do a double front backflip.
Exactly, dude.
And just score a 10 out of 10. That's what you're looking to do. You're looking to push the envelope.
I was telling my wife this. Like, whenever you watch college football, there's always, the guy that wins the frickin' Heisman or whatever, and he's going to the league, and he's the talk of the league.
Yep.
Everybody's talking about him when the season starts. They're not talking about Tom Brady or the MVP. They're talking, everybody's excited about this new
It's a new thing.
quarterback.
Yep.
And they're like, okay, what is this guy going to do? And there's this little short window of time where there's this massive discoverability of that person.
Yeah.
And that's the window that I'm in now. And if I don't take this opportunity to really do something, then
You'll be right out of that window.
Yeah.
And you'll get flushed into just the world of medium-sized fishing YouTubers.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, totally. I mean, that's the struggle, though. We also had Fisher Yin out here.
Yep.
Kind of the same deal as Georgia Bassmaster. Smaller creator, got a little bit of buzz because he won that on the line competition.
Yep.
But he's young, you know what I mean? So he's going to have to figure this out. And that's how he won that competition, is because he was different than everybody else.
Yep.
And I told him that. I told Georgia Bassmaster that he was also in that competition.
Oh, was he?
Yes, he was.
I don't know that.
And I just told him that, that was why I voted Yin in, because he was different than everybody else.
Yep.
So that's what I look for. That's what I look for. And if I'm going to sit here and look at all these channels and be like, okay, who's going to be successful? The first thing I'm going to look at is not your subscriber count. It's not your view count. The view count's a little bit helpful, but I want to look at what are your plans for the future? What is your thumbnail game like? What are your intros like? What do your videos look like? Do they look like everything else? Do your thumbnails look like everybody else? Or does your stuff look different?
Yeah.
And it's just freaking hard, man. It's hard for me sitting here today, year number 3 or 4 on YouTube full time. It's hard for me to sit here and be like, well, God, how can I take this a different direction? Because I've done so much now. It's like it's really hard for me to stay refreshed and keep the new ideas coming, the new thumbnails coming. I mean, it's a grind, man, and I don't know. I'm excited for you. It just makes me really excited for you because you are on this journey that I know what you're doing is going to be so new and different that it's just going to explode.
I hope.
I don't want to put any pressure on you.
Yeah.
But these videos better go viral because they should.
Yeah. I mean, I embrace that pressure. I think a lot of people, like smaller creators, man, I always wish I could just talk one-on-one with a handful of them that are always messaging me, and you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm a big creator by any means.
No,
but
people look up to you, especially smaller YouTube creators, because you've been the shining example of what somebody could do.
Right.
Now, it's also fair to note that you worked for me the
Yeah.
entire time.
Yeah, I worked for a Guggen Squad member.
Right. So, of course, nobody's going to argue that helped you.
Yeah, dude.
And you know, you got some inside information and some knowledge, but you also had to be motivated enough to take that criticism and to take that advice and apply it to what you want to do. Because, I mean, all these ideas that you have, those were your ideas, not my ideas.
Right.
But the thing is, you got to have enough sack to be like, okay, I'm going to go outside the box here, and I'm going to frickin' do something nobody's ever done. I'm going to spend a lot of money.
Yep.
And if it doesn't work, that's not good.
No,
you
it's
know?
not. It's a risk, man.
It's a risk.
Freaking risk.
So once again, I'm just piling on the pressure.
No, I feel it, man. My heart's pounding right now.
No, but I know it's going to work. You guys are going to be blown away. I mean, it's going to, I don't know. I don't want to hype it up too much, but I do know that this is going to influence a lot of people, I think.
Even if it doesn't go viral, it'll make me different. It won't make me just your spitting image. It won't be like
not at all.
Yeah.
No. I guarantee you people won't even, well, I shouldn't say that. People will forget that you had like help
right.
by like 6-8 months from now, because if you do this new project and it goes as hard as we think it's going to go, people won't even remember that you worked for me, because you'll have such a new audience that's like, damn, this is crazy. It's so new and fresh.
Yep.
Like, that's going to help you a lot, kind of like get out from underneath my shadow, which me and you talk about a lot.
Yeah.
You know, there's always going to be the 420 PPs out there that are like, you're only good because Lojo did this, blah, 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 blah.
I do embrace that, though. You know what I mean? Like, we've talked about it before, and I won't talk about it too much right now. But, you know, I don't have a problem with saying that this was my dream and I did have help in my start. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Who cares, man? Some people get help, some people don't. I
Yeah.
mean, if you're somebody who gets help, should you not take that help?
No, and be thankful. Don't act like you didn't and reject that, but just embrace, okay, I got help, because I'll forever be thankful. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know you will.
But yeah, I just want to talk to the small creators at home.
Do it, man. Let's give these folks something. Just give them something.
You sons of guns.
You sons of biscuits.
Or daughters of biscuits. You know
Yeah, that's right. That's right. There's some female young YouTubers.
Yeah, man.
Coming out. There's a
Just-
couple.
One thing I've noticed, I've been looking through some of the smaller creators that we know, and some people that have been DMing me or, you know, texting me even,
Yep.
some people. And everybody is kind of in this boat where they kind of know where they want to go,
Yeah.
but it seems like most small creators don't change anything.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah. They see the blueprint. They see what's laid out in front of them because people have done it and succeeded, and they try to replicate other people's work their own way.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And then sometimes, you know, you see people just using the craziest clickbaity titles, just reaching for, like, please let me get a view.
Yeah, right.
You know, and you click on the video and it's just kind of so bland.
Mm-hmm.
It's edited just like every other fishing video.
Yeah.
And sometimes I get frustrated, man, because people talk about how bad they want it and how bad they want to be successful on YouTube, but they do the same thing every single week.
Yeah.
And nothing changes.
It's so tough, man. I feel bad for people. I really do, because I know how hard this is. It's not easy, man. And you've had such a meteoric rise that people now look at you and they're like, oh, yes, it's possible. And it's just like, man, you had a lot of good fortune, and we all have. I mean, if you get to where you're going, you always have good fortune.
True.
Nobody does this 100% alone and
True.
gets to where they want to go. Everybody needs a little bit of help. Look at every single Guggen Squad member. Great example.
Oh, yeah.
Would any of them be as big as they are now without the Guggen Squad?
No.
I mean, you could easily make the argument that they wouldn't. They all would have been big on their own, but having the help of a crew took everybody to the next level.
And I feel like, though, even though they had that help, they were all up late editing their videos,
working their freaking butts off, man.
You know, that they were working hard, man. And when something didn't work, they changed and they got better.
Right.
And they didn't just keep doing the same thing and expecting something different, man.
No.
Just, I don't know, dude.
You know what we're going to do? I just got a text from our buddy Flair who said that he is going to be on the next podcast.
Oh,
So what we'll do is we'll ask Flair a little bit about this too, maybe.
Yeah.
Because he would be an excellent person to ask about if you're feeling stagnant in your channel or you're feeling like you need to take it a different direction. He's like the poster boy for kind of doing something different. Now, he kind of left the fishing realm altogether.
Yeah, he did.
But just saying, he's somebody who's recreated himself several times. So he'll be a good person to ask about that. We'll come up with some questions that we want to ask old Flair. But, yeah, so small creators.
Slow down, dude. Just slow down when you film your videos.
Oh, I thought you were talking to me. I was like, am I going too fast?
No, you were like, what, bro?
I'm like, oh, shoot, I need to slow down? Damn,
No,
my bad.
that's just what I always think that. That's the last thing I'll say is just slow down. Just slow down when you're filming.
Slow down, take it all in. Maybe not rush to put tons of content out that aren't doing well, and maybe do a couple videos a week and really pour your heart and soul into them. Take more time editing, take more time shooting shots.
Yep.
Yeah, man, I don't know. It's tough. But that's another, all these are like separate podcast topics. I love it. You know, we did the top 10 list of top 10 best fishing YouTubers ever, and you guys, a lot of people didn't like it, but a lot of people really resonated with. So we should do like a top 10 like small YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Like a top 10, you know.
Show some love.
People that you could keep your eye out for.
Yeah.
People that haven't quite made it. Maybe that's something we could do in the future. But oh man, I don't know. It's tough.
It is tough.
I don't envy anybody who's trying to break into the fishing space right now because it's just freaking tough, man.
No, dude.
It's tough.
And I feel for him too. I feel for him because I did diving for 2 years and I never did it. You know.
Yep. You failed.
I tried to do the same thumbnail that everybody was doing. Tried to do the same videos, and I tried to put out more videos, and it just didn't work.
Yep. I tried to. I mean, my channel started off as a kayak fishing channel. A lot of people don't even know that. I was all into kayak fishing. I wanted to do like kayak tournaments.
Dude, how was your start, man? I always think about that. We talk about it, but
how was it like?
So you just GoPro?
Oh my gosh, my first few videos were like a compilation of like topwater blowups or something stupid to like a copywritten song, you know? I mean, the first few videos are just ass. I mean, garbage. But I got into the kayak fishing, and, you know, because that was a big niche at that time. You know, kayak fishing was really kind of starting to take off. And so I wanted to be like a serious tournament kayak angler, you know? And it did that for about a year, man, you know? Did it take hold?
Did you get some viewers? No.
I mean, I had a small base.
How big?
I was considered at one time, like before, let's just say like I was a year or two in and I was about to not be a kayak channel anymore. I mean, I was probably in the top 10 like kayak creators on YouTube. Yeah, but you got to remember there wasn't a lot back then.
How many subs did you have?
I think, I don't know. I got to like 50,000 or so.
Sheesh,
but it took a long time. It took a long time of grinding. But then I kind of ditched that because I realized that wouldn't appeal to enough people. Plus, I realized that tournament fishing was not me. Being a serious fisherman, you know, and I see, once again, I see a bunch of creators, and some of them do not like us or this channel, by the way. But I see a lot of creators who are good fishermen, and they think that that's enough to carry their channel.
Yeah.
That they're a good fisherman, and they're better fishermen than I am or you are. But the problem is it's not what YouTube is necessarily about.
Yeah.
And then I think people get trapped in that mindset too. It's like, oh, I'm a really good fisherman, so I'm not going to do silly videos. I'm not going to be entertaining. I'm just going to go fish. And then they expect to get huge views and followings, and it's just not – that's not the only component that matters to people.
Yeah.
Plus, me and you were the first ones to admit, like, dude, we're not that good of fishermen. We just love to fish.
Right.
There's a big difference.
There's a very big difference.
Now, we fish a lot, so are we better than a random, like, 15-year-old who pond hops? Maybe. But, I mean, that doesn't mean that we can go out and fish the tur, you know? I mean, we're not going to pull a frickin' Lunkers TV and go on the frickin' tour.
Yeah.
And because he's a better fisherman than me, and he's struggled to get in there, which is it's his first season or his second season or whatever, so, of course, it's frickin' hard. But... yeah, I'm not sure how I got off on that tangent, but what were we originally talking about?
I don't know. I don't know where we are or what we're doing.
I don't know either, man. I was just thinking about how people. Okay, yeah, I was talking about how I didn't want to be considered a serious fisherman. So
Your story.
I made a change, and that's when I started doing all the off the wall stuff. Getting my wife involved, letting her pick me stuff.
So did you collab with anybody from 0 to 50,000?
Yeah. I collab with a couple small creators. One of them who actually freaking hates my guts to this day.
Who?
We had you gonna bleep it?
Do you want to?
I don't want to give him any love.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah. Fishing?
Don't know.
Well, nope, of course not, because that's what happens with haters, man. Haters, they just disappear. They dissolve. They can't. Because here's the thing: the energy that it takes to hate somebody and to talk trash about another channel, you can't maintain that forever. Because if you're hating on somebody who's not going to let it bother them, like me or you, hopefully one day, you still let the hate bother you a little bit.
Oh, yeah. I stay awake at night.
But you get to a point where you just don't care anymore, and that kind of takes the power out of the hater's sails. You know what I mean? Like, he just can't do it forever because you're not interacting, you're not engaging, it's not bothering you, you're out there killing it on your channel. So, yeah, of course, nobody knows who he is. I mean, he probably he's got his own following. He'll have 5,000 or 10,000 people who watch every video, but he'll never have more than that.
But, okay, so from 0 to 50,000, you didn't collab with
I collabed with him.
Googans?
No, hell no. No, that's one thing people, I don't know, like, once again, not banging my chest. I'm just saying, like, the way I came up, I had really nobody. I had Norm. Me and Norm collabed some.
Yeah, same.
And then the summer that I really took off, which was 2019, I had, what'd you say, same? Yeah. The summer that my channel really took off, it was me fishing with Norm and Kicking Their Bass TV. We're collabing a lot, and we were doing a ton of stuff during the summer of 2019. So, we had a little bit of collaborative help then, but to get to that point, like to get to where I was signed with Guggen Baits, that was pretty much all on my own.
Okay.
I mean, that was like 75,000 subs. I went to my first classic, stayed with the Guggens because they had kind of reached out to me before then. But I never filmed with anybody, though. That was the thing. Like, I knew them, and I guess I didn't know this at the time, but I guess I was being kind of groomed. Or, like, not groomed, but, like, they had their eye on me to eventually join the squad.
I like groomed.
Yeah.
Grooming.
Well, grooming would imply that they were helping me, which they really weren't.
Okay.
But they were in contact with me the whole time.
Okay.
And I was like one of the first creators to get paid by Guggen Baits, so that was a big deal for me, too.
Yeah.
Gosh, I keep getting off on wild tangents, and I don't remember where we came from.
No, we were just talking about your come up because I was curious.
Okay. Yeah,
I've had so much help at my 0 to 80K. I was curious what your
No, you have,
was.
man. You've had a complete 180 different experience than I had because you've had access to a lot of people to collab with, and which is a good thing. That's how you should do it.
Yeah.
All you small creators, that's another thing you should be doing is collabing your frickin' butts off.
Mm-hmm.
Film with as many people as you possibly can.
Yep.
Who are your size or larger.
Yep.
Now, you don't want to build your career off of another channel's success.
Like me.
But you do want to take advantage of collabing because collabing has been one proven thing on YouTube that works. Not just fishing, with everything.
No.
Collaboration is a huge part of it. And I guess a lot of people really don't do that either.
No, collabing's weird. It's
hard to do, too. It's hard to coordinate.
There's a lot of gray area. You don't really know who gets what, and, feelings get hurt a lot. People use somebody else's content in their video, and...
Yeah, collabing is weird.
It is weird, man. This whole thing is weird.
That's a fact. The job that we currently have, as we sit on a podcast talking about fishing YouTubers, it's freaking weird. One thing I didn't realize that we were just talking about, there's a lot of other fishing podcasts out there.
Yeah, there are.
See, when we launched this, I was under the impression that there was not any.
Yeah.
Because I guess because I had never really discovered any that were worth the damn.
Yeah, I would say there's one or two out there that are pretty good.
Really?
But they're more like live streams. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're one of them that I'm specifically thinking about is for like older men.
Okay.
And it's more like tackle talk and new product and not as much entertainment.
I think Iconelli has one.
Does he?
I believe so, but it's more of like a tackle thing or seasonal fishing. It's not, there's, yeah, like you said, there's not a lot of entertainment. There's not a lot of like guests. There's not a lot of talking about pop culture or like what's going on right now. And that's what I wanted this podcast to be, is like centered around, we don't have to just talk about fishing. You know, we already know we all love to fish. That's what this whole podcast is predicated on. But we want to talk about things that are going on in the fishing world, not just, oh, hey, I'm going to talk to you guys today about this Texas rigged Cinco.
Right.
And how I like to rig it.
Fishing report.
I have a very specific hook size that I use, a very specific weight.
My mom.
My mom really likes this setup.
She loves it.
And, so, I know a lot of you guys like that stuff. I'm not, once again, not trying to denigrate anybody's stuff. I'm just saying that's the goal we have here, is to be different. This kind of circles around everything we just said.
Yeah.
I want this podcast to be different. I want us to be able to talk about anything on this podcast.
I think, dude, I don't want to keep circling back, but like small YouTubers, there's YouTubers that have massive followings but have stuck to that method we just talked about, where all they talk about is fishing. And if all you talk about is fishing, it really caps your audience.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
How you do it. So
that's 100% correct. So, man, we're just taking shots today.
I don't think that's shots. I think that's just facts. I want all these small creators to freaking blossom.
Yeah.
Because there is kind of a gap right now, man. The big creators are slowing up. They're taking their foot off the gas.
That's a fact. We talk about that all the time.
There's a gap of entertainment, and I hope
there's a void.
People,
there's a void. Yeah.
There's people coming to fill it. I hope I fill it. I hope a bunch of people at home fill it.
You're on track, man. You're on track to fill a void. You know, you got Norm.
Yep.
You got Yak Pack. You've got people that are ascending, but it's just tough, man. It's a constant effort to stay growing and to stay changing, and it's just you lose sleep at night, man, for real, because it's just like sometimes you just don't know where to go. Like I don't know where to go on this podcast, for example.
Yeah, for sure. How much time we got left?
2 minutes. Well, we're gonna wrap it right here, folks. We could talk about this for hours. That's the thing, but we don't want these podcasts to get out of control long at this current point in time. But what we do want to do is continue to have these conversations on the podcast. Guys, give us topics, give us ideas in the comment section. Flood that comment section with everything. And remember, shopcrawls.com is a sponsor of this podcast. Go check them out. Get some cheap tackle online. You got anything else to say, man? Subscribe to the new channel.
New channel.
Bell notifications got to be on, or YouTube will not tell you when we drop a new podcast. It's just the way YouTube works now.
This is our brain, baby. So we have some big plans.
Oh gosh, guys, huge plans. The biggest guests in the industry, the juiciest topics of the industry. You know, we're not afraid to have people on that don't like us. In fact, I've had an open invitation to our buddy Milliken for a while, and he does not respond. So, you know, that's been like the most commented thing I've seen, is to have Milliken on. It's like, dude, I've tried.
Yeah, true.
So, you know, I'm not calling him out. I'm just saying, you know, he said he wanted to be on the podcast, and then he did not answer. So I don't know what else I can do in that scenario. So, but once again, you know, we're just going to keep on plugging away. But subscribe if you're on YouTube. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple, make sure you subscribe, follow, leave a 5-star review, write a review. All that stuff helps us out a ton for the future. And I guess we will catch you guys next time.
Peace.
Peace. My mom's ass.